If you have ever made a big plan to grow your business, increase your sales, maybe you bought a new planner, a color-coded calendar, sat in on a workshop, and you're like ready to go on what you should be doing for the next 90 days or what you want to accomplish in the next year. And if you've ever done that, and then less than 2 weeks later, you're already spinning your wheels, not quite sure what you should be doing, and feeling even more behind than you did before the plan, you're not alone and you're not broken. I see this so often, especially for neurodivergent or sensitive entrepreneurs, where you get this excitement, this creative burst around creating a plan, but then actually knowing what to do when you sit down, open your laptop, what are the next tasks and priorities that you should be working on, it can fall flat. It can feel like you're doing everything right, but then the plan starts to feel like pressure and the deadlines start to pass and you feel behind and there's been unrealistic expectations, and then all of a sudden you're spiraling and want to throw your laptop out the window. So then you ghost your to-do list, you blame it on being sensitive, you want to step away from the goals that you had, even though deep down you truly still want it all to be happening and unfolding like that plan you wrote down. It doesn't matter how nicely you can map it out on your journal, in a Trello board, a Google Doc, a vision board. If you're ghosting your to-do list and then blaming yourself for not following through, I want to pose to you that the way you've been taught to plan for growth in your business was not setting you up for success. It was not accounting for some of the critical things that are most important to you. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Chelsea Fournier. I'm an intuitive business mentor and strategist, and I help you create and unfold the business plan that is going to feel like it sets your soul on fire because it is aligned, it is authentic, it is intuitive, and also strategic. We are not talking about hustle here. We are talking about clarity. We are talking about capacity. And we're making sure that what you are saying yes to is not something you're going to second guess or want to burn down a couple weeks or months from now. This is part 2 in the From Stuck to Steady Growth series. And in the last video, we explored how you might be unintentionally bottlenecking the growth of your own business. This video is about why your current planning process is not helping, and instead how to start stepping into a more evolved and aligned method of growing your business. Okay, so real truth here. If you have been telling yourself, I just need to be more disciplined, what is wrong with me? I set this plan and then it's not happening. Or maybe I just need a better system to get all of my tasks done. I should focus on figuring that out. I want you to pause right there. Yes, running a small business is a lot of work and you wear a lot of hats and have a lot of roles, and it does take some discipline and grit to be an entrepreneur. But too many of us are beating ourselves up and saying, why don't I just know how to do this already? When really, it all goes so much deeper than discipline, desire, or motivation. It's the fact that you've been planning and growing your business in a way that has been ignoring 3 critical truths, and nobody has taught you this before. Here's what they are, and here's what I want you to be focusing on instead moving forward. Reason number 1 why business planning hasn't been setting you up for success in the past to actually follow through and do the tasks is that, like most new business owners, you've been planning from pressure instead of clarity. Pressure to catch up, pressure to get your business into momentum, maybe even pressure to prove to your coworker or former boss that you can make this work. And at the core of it is pressure to do all of the things, even when you're not super clear which of the things you should be doing now and next. But when you are planning from urgency or pressure as opposed to clarity and calm, your nervous system is already on the defense. So even if it's a great plan that you can get excited and get behind, your energy is not going to sustain it. And as a sensitive, intuitive, neurodivergent, empathic business owner, sustainability has to be at the foundation. So when you create a plan that then snowballs this massive to-do list and you don't even know how to tackle it again, suddenly you're back in that cycle of shame and self-blame and feeling like you need to burn it all down or start all over. Now, we are going to cover the next 2 reasons why planning hasn't been working for you. But if this is already hitting home and you know you want to do some work to start evolving your planning process, if you're realizing that you don't have a deficiency of follow through, you just need to have some skills and foundations of how to plan and grow your business properly. And if you've been trying to execute a big plan that doesn't actually fit into your real life, I want to share something with you that I just made that goes even deeper. I recently recorded a brand new workshop and it is called From Bottleneck to Breakthrough. It's where I walk you completely behind the scenes through my rooted roadmap method. And this is how I support one-on-one clients in VIP days. And I break it down for you so you can start walking through it yourself. The goal is to help you reduce overwhelm, be clear on what your next 90-day game plan is in your business. That's going to account for all of these shifts that I'm talking about today and allow you to know what to do when you carve out time to work your business, open your laptop. What are the next priorities and tasks that you should be focusing on, and feel clear on how to do that. It's basically an anti-burnout and pro-success workshop. The link is below this video, and I'm actually in process of finishing it, so if it's not quite live, there'll be a wait list. Otherwise, you can jump right in and explore the From Bottleneck to Breakthrough workshop. But here's the second reason why your well-intentioned and maybe highly robust plans are not working. You're building them on this idealized, maybe even unrealistic expectation foundation that you're going to have the same energy, clarity, excitement, creativity every given day. And then you immediately start to feel behind because you're not a robot. You're sensitive, the full moon energy takes you out, you have a sick kid home, like reality is happening. And that wasn't accounted for in the plan. Whether you are neurodivergent, a homemaker, caregiver, maybe have a full-time job, other obligations or roles and responsibilities, or in deep chronic health and self-care. It doesn't mean that you can't be successful as a business owner, but it does mean your planning has to account for different seasons in your life and what your capacity is realistically going to be. It's not a personal flaw to be a human who also happens to be an amazing expert service provider, business owner. But if you're building plans that require a perfect day, week, month, quarter, year in order to really follow through, then the moment life happens, your entire system and deadlines and tasks feel insurmountable, like it's too much to overcome. And finally, let's just talk about slowing down to actually gain clarity. So many of us rush into a massive overhaul planning weekend for our business because everything feels like chaos. And if we can't quite pull everything together, it's going to be like sand slipping through our fingers. So instead, we make long lists, we set big goals, we watch that workshop we bought 5 months ago that we didn't finish on how to do a business plan. And we try to structure our way out of the fog, but not slowing down to gain clarity and regulate our nervous system. But clarity doesn't magically come after a plan. Clarity needs to be the beginning of the plan. When you plan without first slowing down to gain that clarity, you just end up assigning yourself busy work. If I'm honest, you end up having a long to-do list without clarity on what needle you're actually trying to move and in what duration of time. And so it all just feels like you're chasing every single goal all at once, and that becomes really frustrating. Planning and taking action this way starts to erode one of the most valuable assets that you have as a business owner, which is your trust and belief in yourself. So now you know, it's not that you're not motivated enough or don't have a brain for figuring out tasks or plans or that you're not built for business. It's that you haven't been actually taught on how to grow a plan for a small business, a solopreneur brand, in intentional chunks and seasons of time with different focus points. So now you know, it's not that you aren't motivated enough or not built for running a business. It's actually just that you've never been taught on how to create a plan that you can follow through on that's going to actually take into account different seasons of life, your capacity, and maybe even some accommodations that are going to make it more likely for you to be able to follow through. You don't need to plan harder or push more or go download another printable template of how to manage your tasks. You just need a fresh approach, one that feels gentler, more inviting to you, and one that honors your rhythm and reality. In the next video, I'm going to walk through a really key mindset shift that allows you to step into this alternative method of planning. Whether you are neurodivergent, chronic health, intuitive, empathic, it's going to feel like home. So if you've ever been disappointed by teachings on how to plan and run your business in the past because it just didn't feel like something that you could actually implement, you want to make sure to subscribe and watch the next video in this playlist. Because the truth is, seeing more growth and sales in your business is never going to come from pressuring yourself more, beating yourself up, or getting into a negative cycle. Let's turn that around, and I can't wait to see what you think of the next video.